The two executives caught on that now infamous Coldplay kiss cam were first identified on a TikTok account of someone who apparently works at the company. Oh my god, that looks like Astronomer CEO Andy Byron and Astronomer Chief People Officer Kristin Cabot. That's gonna be one awkward board meeting, if not a couple divorces too.
It didn't start with a kiss, it started with a squirm, one awkward flinch, one too tight hug, and one Coldplay concert that spiraled into the most viral corporate meltdown of the year. The ripple effect? A billion-dollar CEO resigning, an HR chief vanishing from LinkedIn, and a wife who quietly dropped her husband's name with a level of class the internet now calls iconic. But here's the twist. According to insiders, the real scandal didn't begin when the kiss cam zoomed in. It began months earlier, behind closed boardroom doors and encrypted Slack threads. Because word is, what the camera caught was just the tip of the iceberg. And sources say the leaks are only getting started. Let's rewind to that now infamous moment.
Whoever wrote the post was believed to have also attended the concert in Boston. And it sure seems that he or she works at the company. They knew Kristin Cabot's precise title in HR, and they also knew that both executives are married.
A sold-out stadium, Coldplay on stage, a kiss cam scanning the crowd for smiles and sweethearts. But when it landed on two executives, Andy Byron, CEO of a rising AI company called Astronomer, and Kristin Kitt, the company's chief people officer, the energy changed. She leaned in. He recoiled. And for 15 seconds, the Jumbotron didn't just expose a maybe affair, it detonated a corporate time bomb. According to eyewitness Grace Springer, who uploaded the original TikTok, the moment felt off even before the internet did its sleuthing. It was the reaction from Andy that kind of sealed the deal, she said in interviews. The clip hit 53 million views. And within days, Andy Byron was out. Kristin Kitt's LinkedIn disappeared. And Astronomer's board was scrambling to contain a PR disaster no AI model could predict.
Grace Springer first posted the video being seen around the world.
It was the reaction from Andy that kind of sealed the deal. He looked pretty guilty.
What made it worse was who leaked their identities in the first place. According to viral TikToks and reposts across Reddit and X, the very first person to call out the couple allegedly works at the company itself. Their post didn't just name names, it correctly cited Kristin's exact title, confirmed both executives were married, and hinted that something deeper was brewing behind the scenes. That's going to be one awkward board meeting, the caption read. But behind the humor, industry sources say the post dropped internal knowledge only an insider could have. And that's when the dam broke. Reports started flying that Byron and Kitt's relationship had been an open secret within Astronomer for months. One ex-employee, now going viral under a pseudonym, claimed they were let go because they knew too much. And they're now allegedly spilling everything from favoritism allegations to supposed internal emails that haven't yet surfaced.
We've now learned that the technology company Astronomer has announced that its CEO, Andy Byron, seen here, as you saw, embracing a woman who is not his wife, has resigned from the company.
But here's the thing, not a single receipt has been posted. Not yet. Still, Astronomer's leadership acted fast. A company statement on LinkedIn said, "Our leaders are expected to set the standard in both conduct and accountability, and recently, that standard was not met." But insiders claim the resignation didn't come from moral reflection, it came from panic. And according to one post that's making the rounds, the board had seen this coming long before Coldplay hit the stage. Insiders claim this wasn't some tragic moment of passion caught by chance. Word is, the Jumbotron just gave the world what Astronomer employees had already suspected for months. According to a former staffer speaking under anonymity on X, Byron and Kitt had been blurring professional lines long before the Coldplay concert. They allege Kristin Kitt's hiring, which happened just 8 months ago, was fast-tracked with unusual urgency. And not just that, multiple internal meetings reportedly took strange turns, with other execs allegedly raising eyebrows at how often the CEO deferred to his HR chief on unrelated matters. The former employee even went so far as to say it felt like the company was being run by two people in a bubble, and everyone else just had to go along with it. That quote has since been reposted over 10,000 times. Sources close to the situation suggest that it wasn't just the physical proximity at meetings that raised questions. Behind closed doors, whispers began circulating about Slack message chains that showed unusual tone and frequency between the two.
Chief Executive Andy Byron has tendered his resignation to the board of directors and they have accepted. The board will begin a search for our next chief executive as co-founder and chief product officer Pete DeJoy continues to serve as interim CEO.
According to reports, some of these threads may still exist on company servers and might soon be subpoenaed, depending on where this story goes next. No screenshots have leaked yet, but that hasn't stopped internet detectives from dissecting everything from archived org charts to time-stamped press photos of the two appearing at events together. And while some skeptics argue it's just corporate gossip run amok, others say the specificity of the claims is too pointed to ignore, especially after both Byron and Kit scrubbed their professional LinkedIns and went radio silent within hours of the footage blowing up. Meanwhile, a quiet fury was brewing from someone much closer to the story, Byron's wife, Megan Carrion. Reports suggest she found out the same way everyone else did, on TikTok. According to multiple sources, Megan didn't yell, didn't post, didn't give interviews. Instead, she made one move that sent a clear message. She dropped Byron from her last name across all her social media platforms within 24 hours. No statement, no explanation, just a silent rebranding that has since been praised by commenters as the most savage divorce soft launch ever.
The company's board of directors accepted that resignation today, saying that it will begin the search for a replacement. In a statement released on the company's LinkedIn page, it says that Astronomer is committed to the values and culture that have guided us since our founding. Our leaders are expected to set the standard in both conduct and accountability, and recently that standard was not met.
Some fans are even speculating that her lawyer might already be involved, citing the rapidity of the name change and the locked status of her LinkedIn. Whether that's true or not, insiders say Andy Byron hasn't returned home since the incident, and that for now, he's laying low somewhere out of state while the board handles cleanup. And yet, for all the social fallout, the most damning questions are still about the workplace itself. How could a relationship like this have allegedly gone unchecked for so long? Why did employees feel too afraid to speak up? And what happens when the head of HR is allegedly part of the problem? According to industry experts, this might become a case study in what not to do. Multiple reports suggest the scandal may be far from over. According to a former Astronomer employee, now posting anonymously under the handle @ExoplanetTruths, the Coldplay concert wasn't the first time the relationship raised red flags. Word is, concerns about favoritism were brought to a mid-level manager months ago, especially around Kit's rapid rise in internal influence. The leaker alleges that Kit was given unusual sway over non-HR departments, attending product roadmap meetings, strategy calls, and even board prep sessions. And while this kind of cross-department involvement isn't unheard of in startups, insiders say it felt more like executive protection than professional collaboration.
This is the guy that is his head of HR. They were caught in an obvious embrace. And as soon as that cam went on them and they saw their image up on the thing, it was the worst cover up ever. She turned her back to the camera and he just he looked totally humiliated and embarrassed.
As one former engineer allegedly put it, no one wanted to say the wrong thing around Kristin, not because she was head of HR, because she was with Andy. And here's where the story takes a darker turn. According to posts circulating across Reddit and TikTok, at least 2 former employees are now claiming they left the company because of what they call a toxic inner circle. One alleges they were pushed out after raising concerns about leadership dynamics in a private Slack channel. Another claims their role was mysteriously eliminated shortly after being moved off a project Kit had supposedly requested to oversee. These are still unverified claims, but they've caught traction because of how quickly Astronomer leadership locked down online visibility. The company's leadership page vanished. The LinkedIn profiles for both Byron and Kit disappeared, and neither has made a single public statement since the video went viral. Insiders close to the company say internal comms have gone into full lockdown mode. According to one anonymous source who says they still work at Astronomer, all hands meetings were canceled in the days after the Coldplay incident, and a company-wide gag order was allegedly issued via email. Employees were reportedly told to defer all press inquiries to legal and avoid speculative conversations on company channels. And yet, behind the scenes, whispers of potential evidence keep surfacing. Word is, several emails and Slack messages, now deleted from the company system, may have been screenshotted before the purge. Some allege these messages could prove that Kit received privileged access to performance reviews, salary data, and even veto power on hiring decisions well outside her role's purview. No receipts have emerged yet, but the threat of leaks is looming. Then came the most unexpected twist. Reports suggest Byron and Kit weren't just colleagues with chemistry. They were allegedly spotted together at multiple public events in the weeks leading up to the concert. One post claims they were seen leaving a tech leadership summit in San Francisco together in late May. Another alleges they were seated side by side at a charity gala just weeks before the Coldplay concert. These sightings were dismissed at the time, but now, in hindsight, they've become evidence in a story unraveling in real time. And the more people dig, the more it looks like this was never just a bad camera angle. The footage that launched the scandal has now been viewed over 53 million times. But what most viewers didn't catch in those 15 seconds is what insiders are obsessing over: the third person in the frame. Reports suggest that the woman seated next to Kristin Kit during the Coldplay concert may have been her assistant, allegedly brought along to create a public buffer. According to a post by someone claiming to work in Astronomer's HR department, this wasn't a spontaneous group hangout, it was strategic. Word is that third wheel was instructed to serve as a plausible chaperone in case anyone recognized the pair. The implication? Byron and Kit didn't just get caught, they were allegedly trying to hide in plain sight. But when the kiss cam locked onto them, sources say Byron panicked, and that's when everything unraveled. If he hadn't flinched, no one would have cared, one Redditor posted, but the recoil told the whole story, and the internet agreed. From TikTok stitches to corporate meme pages, the story exploded. But what started as a joke quickly turned into an investigation. Word is, a tech news outlet is already compiling a report on the internal dynamics at Astronomer, and according to leaked emails, lawyers may now be involved behind the scenes. While there's no official lawsuit yet, industry sources say Byron and Kit could both face scrutiny over ethical violations, especially if it's proven that company decisions were influenced by their personal relationship. Some insiders even allege that Kit had veto power over internal complaints and was responsible for quietly resolving a whistleblower report last quarter. Again, no hard proof has emerged, but multiple former employees have hinted at NDAs, buyouts, and what they call quiet exits in the past 6 months. Meanwhile, the company's interim CEO, Pete DeJoy, has been in damage control mode. Sources close to the company say he's been holding closed-door meetings with investors to reassure them that Astronomer's core product is still viable. But the PR nightmare isn't going away. With major clients now questioning leadership stability, and at least one rumored to be reconsidering their renewal, the fallout is hitting more than just reputations. And according to one marketing insider, brand partnerships are already being paused. No one wants to be the logo next to a cheating scandal, they said. Then there's the matter of Megan Carry-On, Andy Byron's wife, or ex-wife, as some outlets are already calling her. While she hasn't spoken publicly, her quiet moves have spoken volumes. After removing his last name, she allegedly unfollowed every company executive on Instagram and purged all photos of Byron from her grid. Sources say she's consulting with legal representation, though no filings have surfaced. But one thing is clear, she's done playing nice, and fans are fully on her side. Go Megan is now trending as a meme in itself, and people aren't just rooting for her, they're demanding she write the memoir. The aftermath of the Coldplay Kiss cam scandal isn't just about 2 executives who got caught, it's about the entire tech industry's reckoning with what happens when power, secrecy, and ego collide in plain sight. According to multiple reports, Astronomer's internal audit has now expanded to include not just Byron and Kit's decision-making history, but the company's entire HR infrastructure. Word is, external consultants have been brought in to examine whether previous employee exits were handled ethically or if they were part of a larger pattern of silence and suppression. This isn't just a PR mess anymore, one source close to the board told industry outlets. It's potentially a governance crisis. For a company once valued in the billions, that kind of language sends a chilling signal to investors, especially those with IPO hopes. The public-facing consequences have been swift. Byron is out, Kit is reportedly gone, their LinkedIns are wiped, and according to insiders, their company email accounts were deactivated within 48 hours of the incident. But what's more interesting is who hasn't said anything. Not a single official statement from either of them, not even a denial. This silence, sources say, isn't just strategic. It could be legal. Reports suggest both parties may be bound by NDAs or bracing for potential legal action from shareholders, depending on what internal documentation turns up. and with speculation that alleged Slack messages and favoritism evidence still exists somewhere, the digital forensics team at Astronomer is reportedly on overdrive. Whether they find anything or whether it leaks is anyone's guess, but the longer the silence continues, the more people assume there's something worth hiding. And then there's the cultural fallout. On TikTok, users are recreating the kiss cam moment in satire videos. On Reddit, threads are tracking every rumored sighting and digital footprint scrub. And on Twitter, or X as it's now called, the public has decided this wasn't just an affair, it was an abuse of power wrapped in HR policy. Some are even demanding that Chris Martin comment, jokingly blaming the Coldplay frontman for setting off a corporate extinction event with one love song. But behind the memes is something more serious. Real conversations about what happens when company leaders act above the rules. As one corporate ethics consultant told Business Insider, it's not just about cheating, it's about accountability. And when the people in charge of enforcing it become the violators, the damage cuts deeper. As for Astronomer, their interim CEO insists they're getting back to business as usual. But the internet isn't buying it. Every investor call, every employee post, every press release from here on out will be viewed through the lens of a stadium camera, a flinch, and a scandal that unfolded in real time on the world's biggest screen. That's the tea on the Coldplay Kiss Cam scandal. What do you think really happened behind the scenes? Drop your theories in the comments, smash that like button if this shocked you, and don't forget to subscribe for more corporate chaos and celebrity secrets. Click here for another wild story you won't believe.